Hey, it's Theo, and thank you for joining me. And this is my fifth and final review video for the Into the Emerald Dream mini set, Embers of the World Tree. And yeah, it's been a lot of work to get all these 5 videos done for this 24-hour period. It's been pretty crazy, but we've made it to the final video. And yeah, today I've got 7 cards for you. First of all, we've got the last legendary of the set, a neutral one, and also we've got the Priest and Warlock class card. So let's go take a look at them, and let's start with the legendary, which is Fyrek the Blazing, a 9 mana 7/7 dragon, immune to fire spells. Battlecry, cast 20 mana worth of fire spells at random enemies. And I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I'm just gonna assume that it means just casting 20 mana worth of fire spells and cast at the opponent if possible. Generally, casting at the enemy is pretty good. We've had cards like that before. And yeah, casting 20 mana worth of fire spells seems pretty strong. You can probably expect like a board clear or 2 and some face damage, especially on an empty board. That can be pretty scary, right? If you cast a bunch of face damage cards, this can do a lot of damage. And then also it is a neutral, and every class can use it in some other way, right? Like a rogue can obviously shadow step it, or just play it earlier with the mini scoundrel. But it just gives any class a potential board clear, potential face damage. But if we just compare it to York, I think it's looking pretty good, especially because the fire spells, I'd say, are pretty good on average. So I think it's a strong card, and I'll be giving it 4 stars. Then let's go to a Priest with the very first card, which is the Spirit of the Kelderai, a 2 mana 1/3 undead, taunt, lifesteal, battlecry. If you use your hero power this turn, gain +2/+2. So you want to use your hero power pretty often if you play a card like this. That means, yeah, you play it in Imbue Priest. That's the only thing it really goes into, because you know, their Priest deck really wants to use the hero power. But the problem is that a card like this, you really want to play as early as possible. The earliest you can play this is turn 4 with your hero power. But then, yeah, if you use your hero power on turn 4, it's once, maybe twice imbued. And generally, you don't really get to play the card. So then you basically spend 4 mana on this card. And yeah, 4 mana, 3/5 Taunt Lifesteal. We've had that card in Demon Hunter, and it saw no play. The main issue with Priest is just that, yeah, you don't have great board clears, you just don't survive. And the card pool of Imbue Priest just isn't that great. While this slightly improves it, I don't think it's going to be enough. And yeah, I don't think I would put this card in my deck, so I'll be giving it 1 star. And the second card for Priest is the Smoldering Ascent, a 2 mana fire spell. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Upgrades each turn, but discards after 3. So this is almost similar to the previous Priest spell, Condemn, which was played a lot when the Priest was really strong. But yeah, this is it's a removal card, and yeah, they are situational when you want to use them, right? You can't just set up a turn where you want to use removal. It's all dependent on what your opponent does. So sometimes, yeah, removal is going to be stuck in your hand for 5 turns because your opponent is developing like a board that is not getting cleared by that removal, or potentially you're ahead on board and you don't want to use it. And then you just have a card that says, yeah, you want to play it in the second or third turn, and then the game says, yeah, there's nothing to remove. Or there's like 1 big minion and this card is useless. So this card is just way too inconsistent, and I don't think Priest at the moment can afford to just run cards that are this inconsistent. And I would not put this card in my Priest deck, so I'll be giving it 1 star. Then let's go to the last Priest card, which is the Light of the New Moon, a 3 mana arcane spell. Give a minion +3/+3. Cast 3 spells to return this to your hand when played. So then you get the other Light of the Full Moon, as you can see here. And yeah, you get a 3/3 buff, which is okay for 3 mana, but it's not amazing. But yeah, what are you going to be playing this in? Like some aggressive Priest, like Protoss Priest or Pain Priest. Buff can be quite nice, right? And aggro decks, just making 1 minion bigger to like dodge the AoE the opponent wants to play the next turn, or just get nice value traits and maybe more aggressive mirrors. To really make this card worth it, you want to cast 3 spells, right? And then you just get the card back, and you can cast 3 spells again to get it back again. So you could potentially have this buff every turn. But yeah, the aggro decks, they don't really play that many spells to make it worth it. And just the 3/3 buff by itself isn't too shabby. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars. I think it will see a little bit of play. And then we have arrived at the last class, which is Warlock. And yeah, Warlock has a good deck in like the Starship Wheel Warlock, which is Wheel Warlock alone. Those are pretty good. And there's like Dark Gift Warlock, which is pretty terrible. So let's see if these cards can help any of those Warlock decks. And let's start with the first one, which is Conflagrate, a 1 mana fire spell. Deal 5 damage to a minion. Its owner draws a card. So this is just a very cheap and quick removal the Warlock can have for just that 1 mana. But yeah, it does give the opponent card draw, which can be downside, and occasionally you can hit your own minion to draw a card if you're very desperate for card draw. Although, yeah, as a Warlock, you probably aren't desperate for card draw, but there is the possibility to do it, so that is nice. And right now, Warlock is kind of struggling with dealing with like early single target minions, but yeah, it does give a draw to the opponent. And yeah, the draw is just a big downside, although sometimes it could be a small upside, right, when you burn a card from the opponent. Like slower matchups, generally milling, it's not really that great. I think people always overrate it. But yeah, this card I think is more of a card that you really want to be playing for tempo, that 1 mana deal 5 damage. So I think it can be alright if you really want some early game removal. But yeah, the downside is pretty big, so I'll just be giving it 2 stars. Then the second card for Warlock is the Ember Root Destroyer, a 3 mana 3/3. Whenever your hero takes damage on your turn, deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion. So the fact that it only hits enemy minions is both an upside and a downside. Downside is obviously you can't kill your opponent with it if it's an empty board. Upside is that it always hits a minion, which can be quite nice, right? Having that consistency. But yeah, this card, it's gonna need a lot of self-damage cards, right, to work. And there aren't too many ones you actually want to be playing. This feels like a card you really want to build your deck around, but yeah, there's no such deck at the moment that really runs those self-damage cards. And you really want a couple of them to make this work, right? Like you got mass production and then a few other ones, so you could play at least 2-3 of those cards in the same turn. Because yeah, if you just play one spell with this, it's a 3/3 that deals 3 random damage to a minion. Plus with this card, you need to wait until like your opponent has a good board hit with this, and then save all those self-damage cards. Yeah, just frankly don't think there's any deck you want to be playing this card in, so I'll be giving it 1 star. And then let's go to the very last card I'll be reviewing, which is the Shadowflame Stalker, a 4 mana 4/3 elemental beast. Battlecry, discover a demon with a dark gift, get a copy of it. You get 2 of those demons with that dark gift. And yeah, the demon pool, we kind of know it already what demons are in standard, right? With Kill Jaden. You can also discover Kill Jaden with this. And overall those demons, yeah, they're not that great, right? Some are nice with stats, but generally it's just Kill Jaden doesn't work because it's a bunch of stats and not because the card effects are so amazing. However, yeah, the upside is that you get 2 of them, right? So if you get any high roll with like the perfect demon plus dark gift combination, you get 2 of them. But I just don't know what you want to play this card in though, because dark gift Warlock, I don't think this card is suddenly gonna make it good. And while this card gets you 2 cards for 1, it is pretty pricey as a 4 mana card. That also is a 4/3. But yeah, it is 2 cards you get. Maybe will be viable at some point. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars. And that is my last review for Embers of the World Tree. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of all my reviews. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.